Recording is in progress, John Macri. Oh, how the tone of this would have gone different had I be joining you after a brutal Rangers playoff loss.
We welcome the patrons in.
Welcome them in if you'd like.
This is a cold open. This is the open.
Yes.
Hey there, patrons. Yeah, how you doing?
How are you?
I know.
Unless you're from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Unless your favorite colors are black and yellow. Shout out Wiz Khalifa.
I love that song.
Yes, that is the only good thing to ever come out of Pittsburgh. Although the Pirates got no hit today and won. So there, that's their consolation prize, Pittsburgh. Even when you don't get a hit, you score. And unfortunately, you didn't score enough goals against the New York Rangers at Madison Square Garden. The Pittsburgh Penguins blew a 3-1 lead to the New York Rangers. The Pittsburgh Penguins blew a 2-1 and a 3-2 lead to the New York Rangers in the 3 games that they lost, John. The Penguins were up 2-0 in game 5 and lost. They were up 2-0 in game 6 and lost. They were up 3-2 with 5 minutes to go and lost. And the New York Rangers are headed back to the second round of the NHL playoffs.
There was a moment when Dallas was up by 87 points in the second half of tonight's game where I was like, you know what? Maybe I should put on the Rangers game. And I didn't end up doing it, but I thought about it. And that shows you how excited I am about this hockey. Listen, these hockey festivities.
I am here to eat whatever crow you want. This is going to be a lot of congrats, John. You were right. No. I'm here to join you on the Luka bandwagon, although chill on the 9-10 all time. But this is a step he has to take in year 4. I am just letting you know I'm here. I'm down for whatever you want tonight. Literally, it's dealer's choice.
First and foremost, congratulations to you. A team that you root for won a game tonight. A team that you genuinely root for. A team that I have found myself rooting for over the course of these playoffs also won tonight, and that's the Dallas Mavericks. Although I've been rooting for 2 teams, and it's the Dallas Mavericks and the Milwaukee Bucks, and the Bucks. So for whatever victory laps I might want to take, the Bucks were my number 1 before the postseason started. They were my number 1 before the second round, even after I knew about the Middleton injury. And I still said, I thought Giannis would have enough to get it done. He did not. He did not have a great game today. We'll get back to that game in a bit. We have to start with the result tonight. So for anybody who is like Andrew, a Ranger fan, and may not have been watching the events transpire on TNT, I actually don't. I'm trying to think of when the last time I've been this shocked by a result. Maybe not a result, but just how a game unfolded. And like the weird part is like me sitting and watching it tonight again for inexplicable reasons. I have never fully gotten on the Phoenix bandwagon. It didn't make any sense. The numbers said I was wrong. Like Phoenix making it to the finals said I was wrong. Phoenix winning 64 games this year said I was wrong. All of the things said I was wrong, but there was something that was always a craw on my side. I was like, I just don't fully buy this team. Even with that, I was able to sit there and be like, holy shit, we've never seen anything quite like this. For anybody who didn't watch the game, I think the biggest lead was 46, but that doesn't really tell the full story because at one point it was, I think, 70-32.
Yeah, they got over 40. It got over 40 for a long time.
No, it got over 40. It got to 46, but like,
did it ever get to 50?
It was like, no, it didn't get over 50, but like Dallas had like doubled up the Suns for like deep into the third quarter. Luka, in case anybody didn't see the stat that made the rounds on Twitter, Luka had as many points as the Suns at halftime. Had 27. Suns had 27 at halftime. To say it was a no-show job by the Suns is probably a little oversimplistic. I mean, I've never heard of it. Talk about things I've never heard before. A source on the Dallas Mavericks coaching staff. The sideline reporter didn't name a name because I guess they didn't want to give their name, but someone was like said to the sideline reporter for TNT at halftime, yeah, anyone but Devin Booker. Like that was the game plan. Like Chris Paul, you want to beat us? DeAndre Ayton, you want to beat us? Mikal Bridges, you want to beat us? Cameron Payne, you want to beat us? Okay, we'll go home. We'll go home and we'll enjoy our summer vacation. They just weren't going to let Devin Booker beat them, not in the way that he wanted to beat them, which is like 1-on-1, long twos, the whole thing. They just made sure Booker wasn't going to beat them, and I guess we could do the Chris Paul thing now. I mean, look. Nowhere close to like Harden levels, because like Harden has had just an abysmal postseason career. Chris Paul has had some really great postseason moments. Great postseason moments. And anybody who wants to say like he's like underwhelmed in the postseasons, I think you're latching on a little bit too much to like certain performances. That said, this was bad. Like, he didn't show up for the last 5 games of the series. I don't know if he was injured. I don't know what the problem was, but he didn't show up tonight at all. And then there's this I can't even get it out. Then there's the center of the Phoenix Suns who's going to be asking for a maximum contract.
Mm-hmm.
Already did ask for a maximum contract, and the Suns told him no. Go play out your 4th year. We'll talk next summer. And this is how he goes into the offseason. I mean, I don't know what you do if you're Phoenix as far as the Ayton situation is concerned, but like those guys didn't step up, and like the other Phoenix role play, like everybody had a bad game. Like Booker had a bad game. Everybody in Phoenix had a bad game. And on the Dallas side of it, like we'll get to Luke in a second, but the defense, I can't remember seeing a team play defense like that in a very long time. It was literally like we were watching 6 guys on the court defend the Suns, and then Dinwiddie, and we were texting about it playfully before, and I was like, this is what Spencer Dinwiddie does, and you correctly pointed out like, no, it's not.
No, it's not, John.
What I meant to say is like, I'm sure Spencer Dinwiddie is not, like, even Grant Williams, so we haven't talked about that game. Grant Williams had the game of his life earlier today. He's never going to have another game like this. Spencer Dinwiddie's had games like this. He's done things like this at the NBA level. Maybe not on this stage, because he's never been on the stage before, but like, Dinwiddie is a guy who walks on the court and thinks he's the best player on the floor. So I'm obviously surprised that he went from 3. He had 30 points, but like, I'm not like shocked that Spencer Dinwiddie came up big.
Okay. So a couple things. I'm going to take your word for it on the defense, because
oh my God,
this game was on my iPad the entire night. I had it in front of me, obviously, but the big screen got the Ranger game.
It was, I honestly, I really haven't seen it. I can't remember the last time I've seen a team play defense like they did.
Well, so if that's the case, then I don't want to give the Suns too much of a pass, because like, if you want to give credit to Dallas for how they performed tonight in forcing this, that's fine. I'm sorry,
but they got rattled.
This is a 64-win team. I put the stat up on Twitter tonight. This is the second time in NBA history that a team that won 78% of their games didn't make at least the conference finals. And the other example is the Mavs in 07, where it was clear this is just the worst possible matchup ever for them, the We Believe Warriors. This is a the reason you can't think of a team going out like this that won this many games is because it's never happened like this.
Well, there's some commonalities a little bit. One, that Mavs team was never challenged all season. Mm-hmm. And then they were hit in the mouth, and they cowered in the face of pressure. And I think Dirk kind of acknowledged that at some point after that series went the way it did. I'm not going to say these Suns cowered in the face of pressure. Like, they came up big during their home games up until this, but tonight their role players, disappeared. Like but the more interesting part, and why I think the comparison is interesting, is like, these Suns never had to worry about a blessed thing this year.
Nope.
They were never like they had the 1 seed wrapped up with whatever it was, 2 months left to go. And then you throw in some of the other stuff like Chris Paul. He's the Tom Thibodeau of players. He gets the most out of the teams that he is on. And then eventually things balance out. And I feel bad bringing this up. At the same time, it's like, yes, they made the finals last year against a Laker team that turns out not very good. And then Come on. Like, that was not a good Lakers team.
The Lakers team, as constructed last year, won the title in the bubble. And then AD got hurt in game 4 and it took the series.
Exactly. Yeah. So, again,
the one this year turned out to not be pretty good because they got rid of the gel of that team and replaced it with Russell Westbrook.
Well, this team was worse, but last year's team was like in between the champions and this year's team, and AD got hurt.
I will defend that last year's Laker team. Not to spend too much time on this. There was a portion of that series I thought, oh, the Lakers are back. Okay.
Yeah, and then AD got hurt.
But like when they were up 2-1 and AD was healthy, and LeBron is doing like these weird post-ups on Jay Crowder and Andre Drummond is mimicking it on the bench, they were laughing at the Suns.
That's true.
For the first 3 games.
You're right.
Like,
yes,
that is the Suns team. Then they faced the Jamal Murray-less Nuggets. Then they faced the Kawhi-less Clippers.
Yeah.
And I got to be honest, that's how I'm processing all of this. Did we look at the Suns in their run last year? Did I look at Devin Booker and him going toe for toe with Giannis through a lot of that finals last year? And did I overrate what they did? Because Benji tweeted, I think the one of the best lines of the night, like, this is a big loss for just the regular season. Because now, like, the Warriors like sleepwalked through the second half of their season and they look like the strongest team left. The Suns ran away and put themselves in a historical context of a 64-win team, and it mattered nothing. They lost by 43 points at home or 33 points at home in a deciding game. Listen, the superstar convo that we spent a whole week and a half talking about, I'm with you now on Booker and Paul that you don't do that in a game 7. You don't perform that way in a game 7. Devin Booker going 3 for 14 in a deciding game at home. No, I'm sorry. A superstar doesn't do that. So until further notice, you are out of the superstar club.
I think Devin Booker is, and this was my gut feeling then, and this is my gut feeling now. Devin Booker is going to have a very wonderful career in which he spends it as occupying a place somewhere between the 10th and 20th best player in the league. That may be a superstar for a lot of people. It's not a superstar for me. So I don't feel bad about that. The Paul thing, I actually was wrong when I wavered about whether he was a superstar at one point. He was at one point, but he's not anymore. And I think that much has been settled. And then the other two takes were about Tatum and Doncic. I was wrong on Tatum.
Yeah, but the Doncic thing, and the thing about Luka that's interesting, which is why, as much like there was never a debate about Luka, obviously, but you would have liked, like, the Tatum thing obviously will come up in a second, that he had a game 6 that's more emblematic of, oh, this is a superstar.
Yes.
You know, like that's where the nail in that coffin officially went. With Doncic,
we'll get back to that series in a bit. Yeah.
Tonight wasn't like, oh, Luka was too much for them. Spencer Dinwiddie was too much for them. If you took it, like Jalen Brunson had 24 points, like that. And the best part about it, John, all three of them. Oh, you know what? I was looking at the score late in the game, hoping it would stay that the point differential of the game was more than what Luka scored, because I had a line ready for, like, if you just take Luka out, the Suns still lose. So you can't even say this was like too much Luka. This was a complete no. I'm actually there on the no-show job by the Suns. That type of performance at home. I mean, I almost have more respect if it was too much Luka, because then it's like, you know what? You tip your cap. We ran into an all-time great having an all-time great performance. No, Spencer Dinwiddie ran you off your home court. That's embarrassing.
It was him, and it was really the defense was what set the tone early on. Mm-hmm. And actually, it was funny. I know you were paying more attention to the Ranger game, but there was a point in this game in the first quarter where, and they actually, I think it was Reggie Miller, to his credit, even said it on the broadcast. Mavs were up by about 12, and Reggie was like, the Suns should feel something along the lines of, the Suns should feel actually really good about where they're at right now, because they should be down 20, because the Mavs were getting everything and they just weren't hitting a lot of shots. And like they had open looks and like they just, were breaking them, and Phoenix was just playing so poorly. And then Dinwiddie came in and he's like, fuck it, I'll hit some setback threes. And he did. And that was really what started to create the difference in the game. And then Luka went on to finish off, and credit to Luka, by the way, for setting the tone, scored the first 8 points in the game. As you know, I've been watching the sport for 3 decades. Luka's the closest thing to Michael Jordan I've ever seen. He's better than more than Kobe, more than Shaq, more than Duncan, more than Giannis, more than I don't know who else you want to throw in there.
LeBron James.
What?
LeBron.
Oh yeah,
James.
LeBron. More than LeBron. Absolutely more than LeBron.
This is a nuts take, John.
It's not a nuts take.
LeBron James. You have him ahead of LeBron James.
No, of course.
What LeBron did in year 3, getting that Cavs team to the finals.
LeBron James is the second greatest player of all time in my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Without question. And I think I think he's closer to first than he is to third.
To third, yes.
But just in terms of he has no weaknesses on the offensive side of the floor. Defense is, I'll give him credit though. After Jason Kidd called him out, he started playing defense in the series. So, he certainly wasn't targeted to the point that he was early on. Offensively, he has no weaknesses. LeBron, even when he was doing the LeBron stuff early on, when he was scoring 27 straight points on the Pistons, when he took that shitty ass team to the finals against the Spurs, he was doing it because physically he just overpowered everybody. And he occasionally would have these spurts where he would hit shots. But the shooting piece for LeBron didn't really, really come around until the second half of his career. And really, if we want to be even more of a stickler, until the last several years, he always just overpowered. And I will never forget watching the conference finals with him and against the Orlando Magic, the one he hit the game winner, right, in game 2 to stave off them going down 0-2. And then the Magic won that series easily. And that's because it was same play after same play after same play. LeBron, high pick and roll, drive. And there was only so much he could do. Whereas Luka, when you factor in the shooting, the passing, and the fact that he is 6'8", 6'9", and can back down DeAndre Ayton on a post-up and get back. But you can't stop him. He is unstoppable. He's an unstoppable offensive force. He has better touch than anyone else in the league. He's as good of a shoot. I mean, I know his shooting percentages are not good, but man, I think he's the most unstoppable offensive force. And here's the thing. He knows it. He fucking knows it. And Michael Jordan knew it.
So a couple things. LeBron averaged 38, 8, and 8 in that Orlando series. I'm not giving Orlando credit for shutting LeBron James down. I think he dragged Wally.
No, they didn't shut him down.
I know. So he dragged Wally Zerbiak, Larry Hughes, and Delonte West to the conference finals.
And this Mavs team is a lot better than that Cavs team.
Yes. As you know, I'm kind of on this old school basketball kick right now.
Yes.
And I've stumbled down a Larry Bird rabbit hole. I think the comp is Bird.
That's a good Luka comp.
So, because LeBron, I can't put one above the other. I don't want to. I want to celebrate Luka, not put him right below Michael Jordan like we do with everybody.
I'm not saying he's better. I'm not saying he's better.
He's the closest thing since Michael Jordan. And the most dominant thing I've seen since Michael Jordan is Shaq for 2 years, Steph for 2 years, and LeBron for 16.
LeBron to me is closer to Shaq because LeBron was dominant in a way that physically you could not overpower it. And
I see what you're saying. Okay.
And if you put him on the right team, i.e. the Heat, those Heat teams, if you want to argue to me that the LeBron Heat teams, whichever one of the best of those two teams they won the championship, are one of the 5 greatest teams of all time, and that LeBron on one of those teams was the great, him plus that team, it's no one ever was going to beat that team. I would hear that argument. Luka, in a way that Jordan was just none of these guys can fucking touch me. And he backed it up.
And LeBron has that game 5 in Detroit where no one could touch him either.
Game, no one could touch him.
The problem I have with can we just take the words Michael Jordan out of this?
Sure.
Luka is the best offensive force I've seen in a long time and has top 10 all time potential. I get it.
I don't do takes. I'm not here for takes.
And this is genuinely that's why it's
and this is not tonight. I've been talking about this shit for 2 years.
I know. tonight is not the night to be like, Luka willed the Mavericks to this.
No,
33.
I'm not.
Because that's why I'm like, okay, if he goes and beats the Warriors, let's have some conversations. Like, took out this Warriors team that has this gear nobody can get to. The Suns kind of folded. Like, let's not make this more than what it was. And look, I actually agree with you to an extent on Luka's ability. Like Jake Rosen, friend of the pod, tweeted out, like, whatever he wants, whenever he wants. That's Luka Doncic's game. Yeah. I have seen iterations of this, not in like a 23-year-old, which is
that's
like,
the thing. James got there eventually.
LeBron, who
he got there eventually.
You're right on the physical part of this, where it's like LeBron was a locomotive that the only chance you had was like make him pass to somebody else. That's all you have. Because like, I think there's better shooting games in LeBron's career than you're remembering. He just didn't.
No, there are.
He just didn't become a jump shooter until really the second tenure in Cleveland, when he had to become a jump shooter because everybody was counting by three all of a sudden. I will just say how much how much Larry Bird I see in Luka's game. Because like the way he's able to make things easier for other people, the way he's able to, like you said, score on anybody from the perimeter is something Larry Bird did a lot. And it's why I think he's got like a long dominant tenure of the league in him. Again, just take the words Michael Jordan out of the take, and I'm probably right there with you.
It's fine.
Okay.
I you know me, I root for greatness. I love watching greatness. And I think that's ultimately the reason why I was rooting for Dallas in this series. I'll root for them against the Warriors, although I don't know. This Warriors team is flawed. I don't really know what to say about them. That performance against Memphis, and I know they went on and won in Game 6, but that performance Game 5 against Memphis was like unsettling, but at the same time, it wasn't shocking. Like this Warriors team puts forth putrid efforts from time to time.
In wins.
But then they balance out the putrid efforts with like, Steph and Clay are going to get going, and like you can't beat them when those guys get going. I'm excited for the series. I'm very excited for the series. As for the East, Celtics are really good. Celtics are very good.
Can I say one thing?
Sure.
And that's really my only take on the series, because I thought these were two evenly matched teams, especially when you take Middleton out. Giannis, this is not a knock on his legacy. If anybody thinks it is, then they're just wrong. Like the guy had 40 and 20 in Game 6 and lost because another all-time great saved his own personal season. But Giannis, I don't know what more he could have done. He was asked to do so much in this series and almost won it. But last game of the season, the Celtics and Bucks have, I think, identical records. Yeah, they have identical records, or the Bucks had a 1-game lead. The Bucks rest everybody against the Cavs. Yep. And it seemed like, all right, which team is going to duck the Nets in the first round? And the Celtics played everybody, won their game, got the 2 seed, and the Bucks fell to 3, got to play this on fume Chicago team that was really out of gas, that was going to be able to be beaten. And the Celtics took on the challenge of the Nets, swept them, and got to play this game at home. I tweeted this out. I like seeing that rewarded.
That's good.
And as a result, that's where, if I'm going to knock the Bucks at all, it's for that you could have played this game at home if you beat a nothing Cavs team and took on the Nets in the first round. Maybe you would have been more battle tested.
I think I hope a lot is made of Middleton not playing in this series. I hope that doesn't get swept under the rug. I hope that doesn't get forgotten, because we talk about guys, what they did in the finals last year. We saw what Chris Middleton did in the finals. We saw how important he was for the Bucks' evolution as the best version of themselves. They obviously were not the same team without him. I said it on one of the post-game ones from earlier this week. And by the way, again, bad job by me. After Game 5, I was like, most important game of the playoffs. We just saw it. Well, I guess not. But I did leave the door open a little bit, because I was like, it's funny. We said the same thing after Game 5 with Brooklyn, Milwaukee last year, and lo and behold, look what happened. Does that mean the Celtics are going to go off and win? We'll see. I underestimated the Celtics. They're a better team than I thought they were before the playoffs. They're a better team than I thought they were probably even before this round. They should be favored against Miami. I don't know. Jason Tatum, briefly.
Mm-hmm.
Superstar.
Yes.
Superstar. Capital S. Could be because he could be the best player in the championship team this year. It could happen. Would not shock me at all. And that, you know, and if you were building a team today, yes, Luka's, well, for me at least,
I know
Luka's the first pick, but Tatum is right there. I think with Giannis in the next tier of the conversation.
Wait, so it's Luka and then a whole other tier of guys for you, or not one tier that Luka's in?
Luka's by himself in his own tier.
Okay.
Yes.
I think we know what your background should be.
What? Luka?
Luka, yes. It should be a Luka Doncic gigantic poster that just is in your background at all times. Maybe the picture of him in a Knicks shirt with his thumb up.
Wait until he starts getting in shape.
Yeah. If he ever starts getting in shape.
Yeah, he's got a little bit too much Shaq, I think. Mm-hmm. There. Shaq, talk about a guy who could have been the greatest player of all time if he wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
As for Giannis, look, it needs to be said he did not have a good game today. There was a stretch, the stretch where the game got away from the Bucks in the third quarter, like they went to Giannis because nothing else was working. And that's the stretch where the greatest players of all time, like, carry their team through that stretch. And it is a game still in the fourth quarter and he couldn't do it. Am I putting any blame on him? Of course not. The guy had his averages for the series were 33, 14, and 7.
Yeah, that's why it's hold on. What was the stat? He's the first ever to have 200 points, 200 rebounds, 100 assists, whatever it is for a series. Right. Yeah.
I mean, I have
first with 200, 150. Like 200 points, 100 rebounds, 50 assists. That's what Giannis did in this series. I can't, yes, you're right. Like, there was that portion in the third, but you know what else was happening during that portion of the third, John? The Celtics weren't missing. He could have made all the 2 quarters he wanted to. The Celtics were counting by a different number.
I know.
Look,
I'm just trying to keep it 100.
Giannis kept it 100 rebounds in this series. Like, I can't. His team allowed, as a team, they allowed the Boston Celtics to shoot 22 of 55 from 3.
And they hit 4 of
33. Like, that's the game. Not Giannis didn't carry them in the third, you know?
No, but look, we're not having a conversation about a guy who is like, I'm talking about the context that I've spoken about him in.
Okay.
Not top 10 player, not top 5 player. This is a guy, along with Luka, who I mentioned in the last week, as I think within 10 years, we're going to be looking at these 2 guys as 2 of the top 10 players of all time. And when you get to that level, this game 7 is a game that goes down on his resume as in the slightly negative column. The series as a whole goes down in the positive column. I forget if I have said this stat already. If I did, I apologize. I don't think I have. 4 players in history had a postseason run of at least 10 games in which they averaged 30 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists. LeBron has 2 of those 4 in the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the previous 2, your boy, LeBron James, averaged 30, 11, and 8.5 assists in the 2014-15 run for Cleveland. And then Oscar Robertson, 1962-63, 31.8 points, 13 rebounds, 9 assists at the age of 24. I went on an Oscar Robertson deep dive earlier this week. Let me tell you, Oscar Robertson, good basketball player.
That's you and the takes today. Jeez. So is last year Luka losing to the Clippers a knock on him?
No, because he did tire in the second half of that game.
Right. Well, game 6 is more the thing. In game 7, he had 46, but he shot 11 of 24, and Giannis shot 10 of 26 tonight and had 20. He had 25, 20, and 9. And then the other team was better. Like, I can't. That's why it's tough for me to like put this as any kind of knock on Giannis. I think he did everything possible, and it's up to us, these smarter basketball minds, to not be like, well, you lost and he won.
No.
So
he did not lose. He
right.
did not lose. I guess I'm going a little bit by the fact that, like, as they said on the broadcast, he did have 3 point blank shots in a row that just missed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like they were right there for him, and and there were some others. It's like,
I just think if they went in, then Boston comes down and hits 3 wide open threes from Grant Williams that, like, they were giving Grant Williams these shots, and it's like, all right, you got scored 9-6 in that stretch, but Giannis made it, so it wasn't 9-0 instead.
I think it's different rules for a guy like Giannis, just like it was different rules for a guy like Shaq. Shaq, for him to have a truly great game, it needed to be those postseason runs where he averaged like 40 points in the finals or whatever, where he just literally made 70% of his looks. So for Giannis, who lives pretty much predominantly on the inside, for him to finish the game going, I don't even know where he went. Did he go like 10 of 24 or something?
10
like
of 26 was his fun. Like, that's the thing. Luka had a similar stat line in the game 6 last year, which is why I brought that up as a comp.
Yeah, no, it's your takes as usual are much more measured than mine. I'm
not even trying to be measured here tonight, because I came on here making fun of Pittsburgh in a series they dominated against the Rangers, and puck luck was in my favor. I think here's my thought about Giannis. Like, if Middleton plays, they win in 6. Middleton didn't play and made it a series, and the only reason that Giannis isn't playing the Heat right now, and it's why I think this should be more celebratory, is Jason Tatum showed us he's a superstar in Game 6. There was a moment in that game where I was like, oh, okay, here come the Bucks. They're gonna take the lead. And
much better team though.
What do you mean?
The Celtics are a much better team though. It's easier. It is. I don't think it's a hot take to say it is easier to put forward the sort of performance that Jason Tatum put forth when as Jason Tatum, that it is not all on you, which is why I'm that much. Whereas to me, and this is the last thing I'll say on Luka, the inverse was true of Luka in this specific sense. His team knew, okay, we know that dude could put everything on his shoulders. We just need to do a little bit. If we do just enough, he'll get us there. And all that pressure was on his shoulders, where I think Tatum could at least like look around and see, like, I have a great team next to me. And that's part of his evolution as a player this year. He started passing the ball. Mm-hmm. That's what he never did, and he was dishing it in the second half more and more than I ever have seen him, and more confident. Like, he trusted his teammates. Yeah. And that's a big part of it.
Tonight, or I guess today, is the better example of what you're talking about. Like, this is a guy that didn't need to score 46 in game 7 to win. Just, Grant Williams is hot. My whole team is going to make 22 of 55 from 3. I guess where I'm elevating that game 6 performance is the save our season performance that it seemed to have. Because I thought the Bucks had tilt the scales a bit even if the Celtics were a better team, the Milwaukee had all the momentum. They were home. They had the best player on the floor, and Tatum. Those are performances we talk back during. I call them DVD moments, because the championship DVD has those moments you highlight. I look at that throughout most of baseball seasons. If the Mets had come back and won today, this is a DVD moment. The 7 running against the Phillies, that's a DVD moment. And I thought that was a DVD moment. And I think, look, we'll see what happens with this Heat series. I don't want to sleep on the Heat too much. These are 2 teams I hate, but have admired all season for how well they've played with what I thought weren't top end talent, but still top 10 end talent. And now I'm curious, are we going to get a solid 7-game series between 2 defensive minded teams, or does, the 2 teams also like to shoot the 3 a lot too, or
Miami,
does one team separate themselves?
I'll pick Celtics in the series for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I'm picking Dallas in the other series, huh? Mm-hmm. So I guess I'm picking Dallas.
You got to ride this trade. Yeah.
And then who would I take, Dallas or Boston?
You got to ride this train, John. It's got to be you're giving Dallas his first ring this year.
Yeah, fuck it. Why not?
Yeah. And if Luka does, I'll sit here and be like, you know what? Maybe there is some Michael comp to this guy, Luka Doncic.
Let's end with this. It's playoffs aren't over yet. But
I thought we'd end with re-ranking.
What?
I thought we'd end with re-ranking. We have 4 teams.
Dallas, Boston,
of course.
Dallas, Boston, Golden State, Miami.
As far this is championship, like who we think will win the title, and it's like it's them. If not them, then this team.
Yeah.
Golden State, Boston, Dallas, Miami.
You have Golden State as the favorite.
They have this gear. I can't get past it. I was talking to Yash about this today.
Why can't you quit them?
Listen, you got to ride that train. I got to ride this one. The Warriors can go to this level that no other team can. Not the Mavericks, not the Celtics. They could score 30 points in like 7 minutes. It's like, oh, the Warriors are back.
They also have the lowest floor.
They do. That's the weirdest part about this team is like I could easily see them losing by like 30, 40 points or 50.
Why? Because we just did.
Right. And then they'll play an evenly matched game and then just look at each other like, hey, you guys want to win? It's like, okay, Clay hit 17 threes. Hey, Steph, by the way, greatest shooter of all time. We're going to do a screen and roll with you and Draymond and you're just going to be open. Like the Warriors have the highest ceiling, which is why I have to, out of respect, put them one. I think it would only shock me at this point if one team won the title and it's Miami, like of the 4 remaining teams.
It wouldn't shock me if any of these teams won the title. It would surprise me a lot.
That's a fair correction. Yes.
Yeah. It's like quibble. We'll end with this. So since Michael Jordan, there have been 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold on one sec. I see. This is exceptional podcasting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, including. So Luke is one of these players who have played at least 10 playoff games in a single postseason and averaged at least 30 points.
Since Michael?
Michael did it.
Okay.
How many times?
Lucas won. So
Michael did it. Hold on. Michael did it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times.
Okay.
Which is by far the most in NBA history. Nobody's even close. Actually, well, one of the guys you'll get, I'm sure. But you want to try to name the other 9? Luka's one of them. So you want to try to name the other 8.
LeBron.
Yes, LeBron.
Shaq.
Hold on. LeBron has done it.
2 minutes on a timer because I'm logged in as you right now.
Oh, Shaq has done it 3 times. LeBron has done it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times.
Kobe.
Yes, Kobe has done it 4. Kobe did it 4 times.
Kawhi
did it.
That's 4.
Yeah, Kawhi did it. Why can't I find Kawhi on here? Kawhi did it.
Durant
twice. Durant did it 3 times.
Russ?
No.
Okay. Anthony Davis. I'm thinking bubble. If any. Okay. Steph
Someone
Curry?
did it again. Someone did it for the second time this postseason. We just talked about
Giannis.
Yes.
Holy shit. So there's 2 more. Tell me, because we had a minute left.
Well, no. So Luka's another one?
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell.
That's funny.
Oh, actually, sorry. I think we miscounted. James Harden also did it.
James Harden. Oh, go figure.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. But that's your list. Did you say Iverson?
No, I didn't.
Then I can't count because Iverson also did it. So those are all players that did it.
Yes. All right.
Anyway.
You can wrap us up. We're literally in the last minute before your account says we can't be on Zoom anymore.
Thank you, patrons, for tuning in to another episode of another bonus episode of the Knicks Film School Podcast. We'll be back with you with more postseason shenanigans before you know it. Love you.
Let's go, Rangers!